That's what you're talking about.
Everybody believes in him a little bit. Even guys like you who pretend they don't.
I don't believe in the devil. I don't need him.
My name is Kento, and I'm a street dancer. The style that I specialize in is called Memphis Jookin. Memphis Jookin is a street dance from Memphis. It is got a lot of emphasis on footwork, so a series of calculated steps and an internal bounce that allows the dancer to cover ground effectively as he's moving to and fro. So it's pretty cool. As a street dance, people would see this dance style performed in the street, of course, anywhere from a shopping, center parking lot. You'd see it at the clubs. You'd see it in the streets, on street corners. You could also see it in formal dance studios because it is actually a solid, established style. But anyway. It originated in Memphis, Tennessee, probably around the early 80s. The originators, or the individuals credited with coming up with the style, is a three-man group by the name of G-Style. That's Romeo, Hurricane, and Wolf. Those guys pretty much formed the Gangsta Walk. And of course, it came from, being in those party, street party settings and school parties and things around that nature, where they would have a DJ or somebody that would play some music, and then the people would always respond to the music. So eventually they realized, people realized that the music, the sound of the music, affects the way that you move to whatever sound that you're hearing. And these three really came together and tightened it a pretty dope style. That's from my understanding, my research. But yeah. I was inspired to learn Memphis Jookin because I always wanted to learn a dance style. I never saw myself as a technical dancer, never saw myself as a skilled dancer. And I always had a desire to learn, originally traditional breakdancing. I knew I had the ability to do it, but I didn't know the fundamentals to it. So as I was looking for an instructor, kind of came upon the realization that, I'm gonna have to pay these people, and I don't have a dime on me. So I said, well, let me do my own research and start searching for ways to learn how to do that. And in my search, I actually found a YouTube video of somebody dancing, and it really impressed me. And then YouTube, you got your link, one link leads to another link, leads to another link. So I realized it was a serious style, but in doing my research on it, I used to be a big 3-6 Mafia fan. My brother, used to have the bigger stereo. I was a Bone Thugs-n-Harmony fan, and he would drown out my music. So I subconsciously learned the sounds of Memphis music. So we used to make fun of Crunchy Black when he'd be dancing, jumping all around on the camera. And I think that subconsciously taught me the basics of this style. But I always wanted to learn something, and I think I found my style in Memphis Jookin. The movements in Memphis Jookin vary. They vary from style to style because, like a traditional popping style, there are styles within styles of this dance style. You have your traditional foundation, Memphis Gangster Walking, which of course has those calculated steps. It's very loose at times, and it can be very rigid at times. It just depends on the dancer and the feel of the music. But it's very sharp. So you kind of got your jerky movements. It's very much like traditional popping, except it's a stepping style. Memphis is a city of steppers. So when you have this internal bounce that was mentioned earlier, and the steps correlating with a popping feel, the movements are actually limitless, so it varies. Memphis Jookin, I personally would say it's related to a lot of different dance styles. They have their similarities, but the style itself, if I were to say Memphis Jookin was similar to any particular dance style, I would compare it to something like an urban ballet. Actually, it is nicknamed the urban ballet because there's a lot of graceful movements. You see a lot of toe spins, you see a lot of pliés. They wouldn't call them pliés, of course, but you see a lot of pliés, sliding and gliding. So it borrowed from different dance styles, which makes it so similar to those dance styles. But if I wanted to select one primarily, it would be between traditional ballet and traditional popping. The particular music styles that you could dance to for Memphis Jookin is anything under the sun that you want to dance to. It can assimilate any style, any sound, but I will say this, there's nothing like that Memphis sound, absolutely nothing like that Memphis sound. Even all through the South, Memphis underground music has got instruments that you normally wouldn't put into a sound, a body of sound, that when you move to it, it automatically distinctively separates Memphis Jookin movement from any other dance style. That's why it looks so different. So you can dance to any music style, but I prefer that southern underground, old school Memphis sound. Gangster, that gangster music. You can dance to classical music, absolutely. You can dance to classical, you can dance to opera, you can dance to country music, folk music, you can dance to rap. They got different sounds with different coasts. But anything that has a beat, a steady beat to it, and if it doesn't have a steady beat to it, you move to your own rhythm. Limitless. Knowing the history of any dance style is of utmost importance. You can't call yourself a true student of dance, you can't call yourself a real dancer if you can't explain the dance style that you supposedly specialize in. There's a difference between real dancers and people who like to dance. Oh, I like to dance. Oh, okay, well, what dance style do you do? Oh, I do popping. Oh, okay, well, explain to me what popping is. It's like this. Now, if you gotta move and you can't explain with words, if you can't explain to a blind man what your style is and they can't visualize it with their mind, you're not a dancer. You're a person who likes to dance. So it's absolutely essential. I learned this dance primarily by myself. I realized I don't have money to pay people, you better learn it yourself. So I did. This dance style is not a difficult style to learn. It all depends on how much you want to learn the style, how much work you're willing to put into it, and how much fun you're going to have in doing it. When you're having fun doing something, you learn it just like that. If you don't enjoy it, it's tedious, it takes long, and you never really get full benefit from it. So it's real easy to learn if you want to. There are so many people in this city that I have been talking to about the dance style. I've showed, I've demonstrated. I have done some actual workshops with interested people, and I teach individually, private dance teaching. So there are quite a number of people in the Cincinnati area who actually have learned Memphis Jookin from me and continue to learn on their own now. Originally, I used to dance in the streets, everywhere, anywhere. I've done it at clubs. I don't really go to the clubs anymore. I don't really like the vibe too much, but they would always make a circle for people that, you know, really know how to move. But I dance in Kroger. I dance everywhere. Dance like nobody's watching type of situation. If you feel that movement, I mean, there are some places where it's not appropriate. Like, you know, I'm not gonna get into that. It's a different story. But anywhere that you really feel like dancing, for the most part, you move your body. It's yours. If you feel it, somebody else will be feeling it too, chances are. So why not? There are a number of people in Memphis who do this dance style that really inspire me. First and foremost, I want to mention the main person that I really kind of fashioned my style based on my inspiration from is Daniel Price, aka DP, aka DPKOM, which stands for Daniel Price, King of Memphis Jookin. So most definitely Daniel Price. OG Jacquincy. Jacquincy is an individual who bridged the gap between the old generation with G-Style and the newer generation of Memphis Jookers, which consists of course, Daniel Price, G-Nerd, you got Ladia Yates, you got Charles Riley, aka Lil Buck, shout out to Buck, Tarek Moore, owner, president of You Dig Dance Academy. There are so many different people that really have inspired me to want to do this dance on a professional level. You know what? There are a few people from Memphis that I have met that already knew how to do this dance style. They mastered the dance style. They're, you know, way up there. And I recently, at a dance convention, had an opportunity to meet Jason Jaws Williams. So Jaws is cold, man. Shout out to Jaws. He's been doing it for years. So I met him in person. In 2009, I actually got to meet the president of You Dig Dance Academy, Tarek Moore. So I had an opportunity to meet him in person. And I also met one of my mentors that I didn't mention earlier, a friend of mine that passed away last year, Carlton Dotson, aka Zeus. So, you know, most definitely, you know, shout out and respect for my friend Zeus, the CEO of Innovation Movement, Memphis Innovation Dance Movement. He means a lot, you know, to everybody, to this dance style. So he'll always be remembered for what he brought to the table. I am currently working on a personal project called Project Out of Town Jookers. There are a lot of people who are not Memphis natives who have taken on the mantle of this style like myself. They're all in different cities. You got several people in North Carolina, Atlanta, you know, Minnesota, you know, I mean, you name it. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Jooker, at least one Jooker in every single state, because this dance style is growing so much. So my little project here, my main mission, starting with Elements and starting with the city of Cincinnati, what I can do is share as much as I can about this dance style, about the knowledge, the history of it, teaching people how to do it correctly, and then linking up with other people who do the same thing in different cities to begin to increase the dance culture, the dance morale in these cities, strengthen it, and really just make this universal art known as much as it can be done. So Project Out of Town Jookers, for all those who are not born from Memphis that know how to Memphis Jook, buck, chop, and gangster walk, all these different styles, that is what I'm focusing on. As long as my legs are moving and allow me to take even a simple step, I'm most likely going to be jooking somehow, in some way. So I don't see it in my future me stopping, unless God tells me to. I listen to that. But other than that, I'm gonna keep bumping. Oh, I absolutely plan on networking, working with, coming up with projects, throwing events, organizing things, anything that I can do to learn hands-on how they do it, to make it so successful in Memphis, to bring that to other cities that are building that culture from the ground up. Because, it's been their little secret, their prized possession for over 20 years. So, I want the longevity of jooking in other cities to be like that as well. So most definitely gonna network with them. Best way to do that is to go to the source. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Memphis Jookin has borrowed from different dance styles, so it's not uncommon to see something like traditional popping in Memphis Jookin. There's a style within a style. I mentioned chopping earlier, is a combination of Memphis gangster walking, popping, traditional locking, and a couple other things. So you'll see certain characteristics of different dance styles within styles of Memphis Jookin, which really makes it unique. So there are a whole bunch of different styles. Like I said, it's limitless. If people from Memphis are watching this and they want to know about Cincinnati, this is the perfect hub for creating, recreating what they started in Memphis. What Julius, the Millennium Robot, aka Eclipse, is doing, what I'm doing, what Elements is doing, is really creating that fertile ground for the dance culture to really take off the way that it used to. People need to learn about the culture again, and what a perfect opportunity to do that with something that's fresh in their minds. They don't know about jooking, so they have to learn. They think it's new. So Memphis, come on down, man.